Hello, everyone. This is very strange. I'm talking into a blank screen, and I hope that there are some people out there listening. But my name is Aaron Lamb. I've been writing novels for the last 10 years or so, and I've been self-publishing for the entirety of those 10 years. Earlier this year, I did a speech at the Emerging Writers Festival, and the people that were coming up to me after the speech, there were lots of questions around the fundamentals, the basics, the sort of 101 of self-publishing. So I really wanted to take the chance today to explain some of that foundational kind of stuff. So I'm going to walk you through what self-publishing is, how to do it, the options you have, and then I'm going to log into Amazon and I'm going to live self-publish a book so that you can see the entire process. So firstly, what is self-publishing? So, 10 years ago, it used to be primarily print, and you'd have to buy 10,000 copies, well, not 10,000, but, a fair few hundred copies, put them in boxes, and then try and sell them. And a few sites like Lulu, which I'll show you in a little bit, tried to sell those books online, and it was all moved on since then, and everything's print on demand. So what that means is for a physical book, you upload your manuscript, your front cover, you do your thing, and then someone wants to buy it, and this giant machine will print that book right off the bat. So you don't need to buy hundreds of copies of your book to try and sell anymore. All of the big retailers will self-publish these books, and they'll print them on demand as people order them. So that's how you get your physical copy. And then ebooks. So ebooks now outsell physical books. And especially in my world of self-publishing, I've done lots of experiments over the years. And what I've noticed is that around about 96, 97% of all of my sales are ebook. So what I did with my last book was I did a print copy for myself to have at home, but I didn't actually sell the print version. I focused exclusively on doing ebook publishing. So what is ebook publishing? Quite simply, it's Kindles, it's Kobos, it's that kind of thing. And again, you can go onto any major retail site and buy a copy of that book and download it direct to your Kindle. So these are the two sort of options of what self-publishing is: a physical copy that is printed on demand, and an electronic copy that people download directly to their Kindle. So I'm going to screen share with you and walk you through a few bits and pieces of what you need to do in order to get ready to publish your book. So the first thing you need to do is you need to choose a platform to publish on. And there are lots and lots of different platforms out there these days. So this is Lulu, who I was talking to you about earlier. They were one of the first, and they're still really great, loads of resources. They've got a good community. You can publish a book on their website, physical. They've got links in with major retailers to get your physical book up on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, etc., etc. And they'll do a lot of the work for you. They can be a little pricey, but they will take out some of the stress for you. Another one to research into is Smashwords. So they focus primarily on ebooks. So you can publish your ebook with Smashwords, and again, they've got links into all sorts of different areas. They also work really closely with National Novel Writing Month, which has just started today, and I would highly encourage you to check out National Novel Writing Month. They, again, a brilliant community of people, loads and loads of tips and tricks and all this kind of stuff. The other major one is Amazon. So this is the back end of Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing. Now, I'm going to talk primarily about Amazon because, again, over the years, doing lots and lots of tests and seeing where the sales are, Amazon is by far and away #1 in terms of all of my sales. So I want to walk you through what it's like publishing on Amazon. So before we get started with it, there are a couple of things that catch people at the start of this process with your actual physical book, especially on Amazon. So I just want to show you, this is the Word doc of episode 3 of my new book that I'm going to publish up today for you. And this is the most important thing here. So basically what this is a table of contents. So if you go to references, table of contents, this is how you get chapter breaks in a Kindle. So what you don't want to do is just upload your manuscript, because there won't be a single chapter break. And when you download that book, you won't be able to skip between chapters, which is one of the #1 sources of annoyances for people. And I found this out the hard way. Published a book about 6 years ago and it had no chapter breaks. And people were giving me reviews saying, oh, this would be a 4-star book, but I'm only going to give it 3 stars because you didn't have chapter breaks. So please, 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 when you're working on your manuscript, go to references and insert a table of contents so you can put your chapters in. What you need to do is make sure that you have chapter breaks. So a page break, sorry. So when you get to a new chapter, like here, what we want is we want this in Kindle to look really nice. So you don't want it to just scroll like it does on a Word doc. You want to be able to insert a page. Of course, I've completely, here we go, page breaks. So you just go to page layer, insert a page break here. There we go. So this is the start of a new chapter and it's all going to look nice and formatted in Kindle. The last thing you want to do is never ever use tabs. Tabs will screw up your formatting. So just make sure you use the special in here, first line by 1.2 centimeters. That's the really boring technical stuff to make sure that your book is formatted properly. So table of contents, insert page breaks, and have a special first line of 1.27 centimeters. And that just basically means your book is ready to go and is perfectly formatted for Amazon. So we are going to save that. Just close that down. So that's how we do it. Now, the other thing you'll need to do is images for your front cover. Now, Amazon provides you with a couple of options. You can use their image creator. Lulu have got an image creator as well. A lot of them do these days. You can upload your own image and they'll resize it and all this kind of stuff. You can put your blurb in. If you're trying to do a wraparound physical cover, if you're just doing an ebook, then when you get your image and you design it up, you need it to be 2,560 pixels by 1,600 pixels is the ideal size. Now, if you're not a designer, don't fear. There are communities out there that are. So you can jump onto communities like Fiverr. And there are people here that will go to graphic designs. And there's a whole bunch of people here who do Kindle designs. I'm not going to log in right now, but they do Kindle designs for your book. So book covers here, and some of them literally will do it for $5, starting at $6.50 ebook design cover. If you want to get some images that are totally free for you to license, then there's a great website called Unsplash. And these are brilliant photographers from around the world who have uploaded these royalty free. Download any of these images. You can search for categories. You can search all sorts of things on here to find the image that you want to provide to a designer on Fiverr. So literally for $6.50, beautiful front cover designed by an actual graphic designer to put onto your Kindle. So we've done formatting. This is a really cheap way to get a professional looking front cover, and you need a professional front looking cover. So let's jump into actually publishing your book. So you'll need to set up an account with KDP, and this is the page that you get when you land. This is your home page. So you can see here, these are books that I've previously published. And you can create paperback books in here, and you can create Kindle books in here. I'm going to focus on the Kindle book today because, like I said, of all of the sales that I've had over the last 10 years, the majority are Amazon and the majority are ebook. And I'll just point out as well that with Amazon, % royalty on the book that you sell. So up to 70%. So it's a really great way to make a few dollars as well. So we're going to jump in here, and there's 3 main columns. There's the book details, the content, and the pricing. Pretty self-explanatory. So the book title, this one is called We're All Doomed. It's a post-apocalyptic comedy. The subtitle we can sort out later. The book is called We're All Doomed. If it's part of a series, I would highly recommend that you have a series. That's the best way to make some money. Can't spell, series number 3. So a good little tip here, if you do have a series of books, your first book priced at 99 cents to hook people in and get them reading it. Your books thereafter you can price at $1, $2, $3, and they're the ones that you start to make a bit of money on. Enter in your author name. So my name, if I can spell correctly. Are there any contributors? So editors, illustrators, like if you need to credit anyone, this is where you do it. And then a description. So your blurb, what is this book about? For today, I am just going to say part of the series. Oops, you own the copyright. Now, keywords, this is really important. So Amazon is basically a giant search engine. People go onto Amazon and search for stuff. So the keywords is a good way for people to find your book. So if people are coming onto Amazon and they're searching for, you know, dystopian fiction, that's right, fiction, and they could be searching for, you know, post-apocalypse. See, I rely heavily on my spell check because I am highly dyslexic. So here is where you populate all the keywords. So you might be writing comedy, you might be writing fiction, it might be memoir, whatever it is. What would you type into Google or Amazon to find your book? And you've got 7 keywords that you can put in here. So have a good think about it. Type in a bunch of keywords into Amazon, see what kind of books come up. Are they like your book? Don't go too niche would be my main advice, because if you go too niche, you won't get hardly any people actually looking at your book. So down here, next step is categories. So again, you can, people search by categories, so you can come in here and say, right, my book is a action adventure book, and it is also a science fiction book about the post-apocalypse. So we can save that. So now my book is going to be stored in the action and adventure and post-apocalyptic section of Amazon, which is great. Does your book have an age rating? Is it erotica, for instance, in which case you need to play around with it. And then this bit here, pre-order. I'm ready to release my book right now, or make your book available for pre-order. So I'd always recommend doing pre-order so that you can talk to friends and family first of all, and then if you have people on Facebook that follow you, or on your website, or wherever your community of people are, at least this way you can start to say, hey, I've got a book coming out, build up a bit of excitement for it. So this book is actually getting released at the end of January. And then we hit save and continue. So that's going to save this. Done. So we move on to the next section, which is the content. Digital rights management. So this basically is a good way for you to ensure that no one takes your book and steals it. So I would always click yes. We definitely want that. And then we're going to upload our ebook. So here's the ebook I was working on earlier. Open, and then it's going to start uploading. So a couple of minutes sometimes, depending on how big your book is. There we go. So now it's processing. So it'll just send me an email once it's processed my file. Now don't forget the top 3 tips there as well, with the table of contents, page breaks, and the use of the paragraph indentation. Now this is what I was talking about earlier with the cover. So you can launch a cover creator, which will help you build your own cover, or you can jump onto communities like Fiverr, who will design the cover for you. If you have your cover all ready to go, you can upload your cover here. This is my cover. Thankfully, I've got a good friend that's a graphic designer, so they were able to put this together for me. But I have used Fiverr in the past, and the results have always been really good. Book covers don't need to be complicated. The hardest part of a book cover often is getting a good image, which is where sites you notch Adobe Images and get a free trial where you're able to download 10 photos. And there's millions of images on there that you can download. So that's always a good way to go about it. And for this series, Apparent Magnitude, that's exactly what I did. I wanted some custom created illustrations, which are quite expensive. So I went onto Adobe and I found some really lovely covers and downloaded them in the free trial. So that's all done, that's all done. So it's processing the file, and I've deliberately left some typos in there so that this thing would come up on screen that was just there that's disappeared. Amazon will scan your book again for typos. So you can, when the box comes up after it's processed, you can actually click on there and pick up some I've missed. Now I will say that you absolutely need to get your work edited. It's completely essential because people will buy your book based on that first sample. So when you go to look inside the front cover on Amazon, people will read the first 300-400 words. If there is any kind of typo or grammatical error in there at all, they won't buy your book. So thankfully, if you've missed something, which is easy to do, thing that will help you figure all that out. So you can see these are the deliberate ones I've put in. Now you can get them emailed to yourself. If they're things that you know are correct, you can ignore them, like if you're doing sci-fi or something like that. For now, I'm not going to muck around with that. I just wanted to show you that Amazon does that, which is really handy. And here, so this Kindle ebook preview, super helpful. So this will show you what your ebook will actually look like when someone buys it. Formatting issues are the #1 source of problems that a lot of people have in the community. So you can come in here, you can see what the front cover looks like. Skip forward, and so you can see here that I've indented the whole thing, and then I've done center align, which has knocked off the front cover. So I'd actually need to go back and change that. Now the great thing with the previewer is you wouldn't see that in Word doc, but you'd see it in this previewer. Now you can see that the text of the book is actually all perfectly fine. So I'm really happy about that. So we can go back to our book details. Now the good thing with the pre-order, and even when you finish the publishing of it, is you can come back and you can change all this stuff at any time. So we'll just keep pressing through for now. So we'll save and continue, and we'll come through to the pricing. So KDP Select enrollment. So what this means basically is you are saying to Amazon, I have not published my book anywhere else. Now this is a choice entirely for you. You might want to do Lulu and Smashwords and Kobo and Barnes & Noble and all this kind of stuff. if you decide to enroll your book in KDP Select, you get a couple of extra bells and whistles for making it exclusive to Amazon. One of which is you can give your book away free every 90 days, which is a good way if you've got a series to get people into the series. I've used that for a couple of years now, and so every 90 days I run a free promotion on the first book, and then people go on to buy the second and third. I found it to be a particularly effective method for me. It's not for everyone, but I would often suggest that you do it. And it also means that people can borrow your book as well. So if someone likes your book, they can send it on to a friend. The friend can read it for free, basically. And my philosophy is the more people reading the book, the better, whether it's free or not. There are millions of potential readers out there, and self-published authors, generally speaking, the average amount of sales we get is 250. So if you're giving your book away to a couple of thousand people, it's still nothing in the ocean of millions. So I would encourage giving that book away as much as you can to get as many people talking about it, to get as many people coming back into the second, third book in your series, to start to generate some momentum for you. So we obviously want it to go to all territories. Why would you just want to publish it in one place? Now this is the royalty and pricing. So depending on how much you want to price your book at. So for the first book in the series, like I was saying, I'd do it at 99 cents. It means that you can only get a 35% royalty on it because it's so cheap. Okay, now this is not the first book in the series, this is the third, and this is where people should be hooked, so I can actually charge some money. So we could say I want to sell it for $1.99 and I want to make a $2. Yeah, there we go, $2.99, 70% royalty. So I'd make $2.07 from anyone that buys this book. Now Amazon defaults to the US market because that's where the biggest amount of sales are. Replicate that price across everywhere. So $2.25 in the UK. That's not a nice round number. So you might just want to come in here and fiddle around with it a little bit. So $1.99, etc., etc. So Kindle Matchbook. This is another deal that people do, and I just enroll into a lot of this stuff. More and more people will read your book. Book lending, yeah. Let's let people get the book, and then that's it. Submit for pre-order. So hit that button, and you will have published a book. So here's all the bits and pieces. So you can start your paperback edition if you wanted to, and it's really a similar process. You'd get your people at Fiverr to design you a wraparound book cover. Amazon will tell you how big the spine of the book needs to be, depending on your word count and how many pages are in the book. But it's a really similar, straightforward process. So now you can come in here and see, here's my new book. So here's episode 1, episode 2, and I'll update that to say episode 3. I've just live published a book. So into Hangouts, hit that, and we'll see. There we go. So that's how you live publish a book. Hello everyone, this is very strange. I'm talking into a blank screen. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. I hope that there are some people out there listening. Sorry. My name is Aaron Lamb. That's. I've been writing novels for the last 10 years or so. Yeah, sorry. Does anyone have any questions? You can get me on my email. So I'll just check my email now to see if anyone's got any questions. But that's how you do it. That's the whole thing. So yeah, feel free to shout if you have any questions. I'm here. So yeah, that's it.